All right, guys, here we're going to talk about Season 2, Episode 16 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered.
Ooh. This is 10 out of 10 episode. This is famous. This is in my personal top 10. I hope you don't disagree.
This is not only one of my favorite. This is a lot of the cast and the crew's favorite episode.
Yeah.
This is Nicholas Brennan's favorite episode.
Good.
It's such a fun episode,
yes.
and it nails so many cool things. And I think people give him shit, like the Xander character shit about this episode, but I'm like, I think this ultimately proves he is a good guy.
They give him shit for this episode?
Oh, yes.
Okay, we'll get into it. But yes, I was going to say, you said that they give him shit overall. And I think so far there's been a few missteps, but in general, I'm still behind my boy.
I would say if anything is a great feather in the cap of how he's a great person, it is this episode, because you have this whole thing where he fucks up and he does a love potion that makes everyone fall in love with him. But his intentions, while are not pure,
revenge.
They're almost as pure as, revenge is pretty pure.
Okay.
Like, he doesn't want to turn her back and make her his puppy dog love slave. He wants her to feel the pain he is feeling.
He just wants to destroy her. No. So I'm not sure, honestly, if he wasn't on some level like because he likes her, right? So he was lashing out with the love potion, but I think that, beneath it all, he also wouldn't mind if she was into him and stuff. I also think that there's and I think you kind of have to interpret it that way, right? Or that thing at the end is this cool button where she's like, wait, the love potion was for me, and he was like, yeah, bitch, I was gonna break your heart. And just does it, but I'm like, oh no.
Well, no, it was this moment of because she has this thing like, you wouldn't die for me, you wouldn't do these things for me. Like, oh, you fucked up the whole world for me. This is her as like a self-centered person. That's a huge badge of honor.
There's no cutaway to his face being like, yeah, like.
But it's the truth. He did do it for her.
Yeah, no. But the episode's not playing it up like you're supposed to not believe that he was just doing it for those selfish bad reasons, right? Like I was not shown any like conflict there, so I have to believe that we are to believe that like that's the right interpretation on some level, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going with that part. But yes, if you were to purely interpret it like he almost destroyed everything just to like do this like horrible like revenge thing, right? Mm-hmm. That's definitely bad. But then all of his actions after that point are like relatively.
I think you could swing it back around in either direction.
Right?
If she took it as even if she took it as a revenge. Oh man, you cared that much to do this thing? Like, I think you could work it regardless. But the parts that display how much as a 17-year-old boy, I don't know many people that would have the willpower that Xander displayed in this episode here.
Especially because Buffy dyed her hair or got it styled differently. Looks really good this episode.
I don't like this.
I figured
look
you would
of
hate
Buffy.
her.
I like traditional Buffy.
The second that I saw her, I was like, oh, she looks so much better. Everyone probably hates this. And also probably next episode, it goes back. I don't even know what's happening. Whatever.
There are some looks that last for a little bit.
She was probably doing something else at the time or something, and did like a photo shoot for a magazine. They did her
she
hair.
was there's actually a story about that. Which you may not know. So Buffy is barely in this episode. She's turned into a rat.
Yeah.
And this episode wasn't originally planned out as such. This was a last-minute write by Joss because Sarah Michelle Gellar had plans to be on SNL as the host. And
they did her fucking hair.
Needed to get out of the show.
Yes.
So they filmed her stuff really quickly before she was turned into a rat. And then off she went and she filmed that show.
And she was like, Josh, wait. He's like, don't worry. We changed it. You just have to be sexy and then you're a rat. And she was like, all right, cool. I got this. Nailed it.
No, but this is a fun
awesome.
episode because because of the nature of it, people acting against their normal behaviors.
Yeah.
So
It's
everyone
a
is
fun episode.
acting.
Right.
So you're not like, oh, you're just that person. Everyone changes.
Yeah.
Like Willow displays some of her best acting here ever.
It's amazing.
When she gets crushed, her eyes, how they're watering.
Yeah, how hard this is for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Buffy kind of nails it. Where it's like it was the hardest on Willow because she felt that way beforehand, and I love that. I would have liked if I were to tweak this episode slightly, it would be that you would have unaffected would be Cordelia and Willow, and it would be because they already love him. It doesn't work.
I would have tweaked it to make more, because I don't think like when he's walking down the hall doing his cool like got the love walk, everyone's like ogling him and like whatever. And I think some of the dudes are also into him, and I'm not really sure.
Yeah, they didn't play. Larry would have been a good play up here.
I wanted Larry to come back, and also when he gets through all that, he goes to like the library. Giles is there, and he's like, oh, what's going on? And they start talking. Giles takes off his takes off his glasses, starts cleaning them, goes, that sounds bad. Yeah, that sounds like you have a problem. And then I was waiting for some weird like thing to happen. It would have been amazing, but you needed him to like save the day, and I understand.
Miss Calendar nailed it though.
Yes.
Her like just how she's like doing something, and just like her hands are doing her shit over here,
stroking
and then like just.
Are you working out? What's happening? Because you can watch it like take hold of people.
Yes.
They all don't wake up that morning in love with Xander.
No.
It's this weird like process.
It's a great and like the way it slowly creeps up on some people, like how Joyce gets it. Like she's doing her motherly thing. Oh, come on in. Oh, what's wrong?
Kids,
how'd you get those cuts in your face? Go up there and get some iodine. Get the hell out of here, Cordelia. We got shit to do. This is womanly stuff. Get out of here.
Exactly.
Like I loved that.
Starts doing the thing, and his reaction of just like head down, like, oh no, I can't get away from this.
But like speaking of his reaction, so like while they do the the Saturday Night Fever strut scene, as you were kind of calling it, it's great because it's not that. It's not Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 3. He's like embarrassed and awkward as he walks, and people look at him, which is fantastic because it could have been played up as like I'm the man's man. They play the Bee Gees and shit, but no, he's like, oh, what is happening? No, and how quickly it turns.
I think that's the key to the Xander redemption arc, for any like bad stuff here, is that he's immediately like, uh-oh, and like this is a problem. Yes. He's not just like, oh, I can work with this. This is nice. Yeah, ladies. Wait, no, this is too much. Too much ladies. He doesn't do that one, which I'm like, cool.
him not like thinking it didn't work, because he goes up to Cordelia thinking I'm about to get to dump you in front of your friends. Haha. And it doesn't work at all. And now he has no reason to believe it's working, period. So when Buffy shows interest in him, he's like, oh my God. And that on paper makes sense. Like we've all seen that things like somebody was waiting for something out of a relationship or realized like, oh, now that you're available, this type of thing happens. No.
And this episode's genius because it opens again because Xander and Buffy have all this FaceTime. Mm-hmm. They're like in the graveyard, just doing some slaying, hanging out on patrol or whatever, right? So like the whole thing's framed up to help us believe that Xander believes that maybe she did like suddenly because she's having her issues with her relationship. Maybe it's my time. And then just him looking through like the little hole in like the door and sees Buffy like doing the thing. He's like, oh, Amy, fuck, oh my God. And he's just crushed.
Well, there's one brief moment where Amy's, he's like, what are they, is this Christmas? They're both into me? What the fuck? Oh. He's like, and like, was I think willing to quickly forget Cordelia, in favor of Buffy because it's who he's been playing over. He even says it in not so many words. Well, there's somebody I was looking for, but they're not interested in me, and blah blah. Like, so you know that's out there, which also kind of seeds the idea that like, okay, now that you're single and you did just say you would date somebody, it could happen. But when he realizes that crush, it's almost as powerful as Willow being crushed.
The same phrase Amy does, and then he realizes like, oh no. And then from there on, it's just like downhill.
Oh, it spirals.
But like the strut is really cool because it's like a cinematic mirroring thing. Because at first he has the walk of shame, where like seemingly everyone they're like laughing at him and like hands on their shoulder, like sorry, dude, sucks to suck, bro, all that shit. And he's like that's kind of real too, though. It's great. No, it's perfect. So I was afraid maybe you've led a charmed life and you don't realize what it's like to be in school and have something bad happen.
Oh no, I've high-fived to do and said sucks to suck.
Okay, you were the other guy. Like, I got dumped, bro, and like kick
everyone's had those weird dumpings and public breakups.
Where that's just what it feels like. You're walking down the hall, oh, they all know, oh, I'm the laughing, oh, I'm humiliated.
Yes, and whether they were like, if something embarrassing happens, it feels like the world is looking at you. And whether they were or not, but in this, people were literally calling them out, and like it was like, oh no, they do notice. And to me, I'd be, if I'm in Xander's shoes, I'd be like, oh yes, did you date the captain of the cheerleaders? I'm so sorry, I didn't realize you were Mr. Popular. You know what I did? Her. Like it would have been his thing. And
she couldn't handle me.
Xander is a quick-witted guy,
but he was crushed.
He was.
It's so
and that's
good.
how you know it was real.
It was fucking real.
He finally spent money, and she broke up with him on fucking Valentine's Day. That's brutal.
His face is there. It happens early, and then he just keeps it up. But we've like talked about him before being like good. His like facial stuff when she's like, I think we should break up. He's like, what? Yeah. Like the one day you don't do this is Valentine's Day, right? It's like
no, it is brutal, but like.
And
you see her...
he was like holding the box, and he asks Buffy about it. And he's like, oh, is she gonna like it? Oh my God, what am I gonna do? He's all nervous like a kid. So good.
That's what makes it so much more powerful for the to be crushed.
Yeah.
But that whole arc that Cordelia has, where she is the sheep, she is bending down to what the mob mentality wants. Oh, Xander's not cool enough, I have to leave him. And at the end, shut up, Harmony, and like doing her whole business. I was like, all right. That's pretty good.
We talked about several aspects, but that's the final one, the heart, to form the captain plan of the 10 out of 10 episode for me.
Yeah.
Where like, yes, you have that, like the plastics are like, oh, you blah, 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 blah. You, does Xander like that thing? And she's like, who? What? Oh no, everyone knows. And she's out and she has to like dump Xander performatively to get back with their stupid clique. And
it's very strange.
I actually hate these bitches. Wait a minute. And turns around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
we'll see her with them again. But now, like this is the severe turning point where it's like you are more Scooby than you are not. Well, they are your people.
Yeah, this is that whole journey of like, well, should we go as like a couple? And she's like, ew, no, why? God, let's go to the closet and make out. And you're like, he's like, my emotions, God. And it's like, and now it's come full circle. Like in that like whatever they call that like open top square area where the kids hang out.
The quad.
Is that what a quad is?
I'm saying it is.
I don't know. I was like, it's an atrium or something, whatever. But that area where they always show the kids, it happened there. So like everyone knows that this just happened. And she's walking and he's counseling her, like, don't worry, just keep walking, it's fine, stop it. She's like, oh no, what have I done? I ruined my life. But I'm sure, like you say, we will see them together again with their friends. It's fine. It's not.
Well, they're the Cordettes, and she's Cordelia. Without Cordelia, the Cordettes are just nothing.
And their kids, nothing is permanent. This is just like a dumb thing. And now this will just be them saying, well, we still hate Xander, but like whatever. Now let's go do this other thing, right? So whatever.
I like almost dislike that Cordelia wasn't affected because of the charm they used, because like her still wearing that necklace showed that she had the feelings, and I think it really could have easily tied into that feelings thing.
Oh, that's so perfect.
That's pretty powerful to me.
Dude, when she's like, it's in my locker, and he's like, I'll wait. He's like right there, so she has to like sheepishly like crawl inside of her own locker to take off the necklace. When you realize, and like they play the music, it's so perfect. It's this whole thing. That's like the whole journey you go on here with all the heart. I loved it so much.
Speaking of journeys, real quick, I can't not mention the fact that it gets out of hand very quickly and the crowd turns bloodthirsty. You got Willow with an axe. People are going fucking mad. And they run from the crowd. And they're like, school is either in session or just ending when they run. Right. And the next time we see them, I think we got away from them. It is pitch black.
They've been running all night.
They've been running all night and only just got to like Buffy's house.
Yes, exactly.
that was so goofy. Oh, man. But like... This episode, brings back Amy, which I think breezed right over. She is who displays this powers. Yes. Amy is back. Amy is using witchcraft. Xander blackmails her to get this power.
Hits her up.
It's a very dangerous game when you're attempting to blackmail a witch.
I know.
Because they're powerful. She's obviously doing things and can Jedi mind trick a teacher. She could potentially just like turn you into a rat.
Oh, well, I was going to say, no, Xander's like Fry from Futurama. She would try to mind trick him, and he'd be like, what are you doing? With your hand? It's fine. Yeah. But, she has powers. She's maybe the most powerful entity we've encountered so far.
Yeah.
You can just almost instantly turn someone into a rat.
She goes black eye. She loads up twice, so she doesn't, about to do them back to back, so she has the power.
Yeah, I was going to say, right, yes. So,
passed down, I guess, generation to generation.
So there's no recharge, it seems like, where she could have done it at least twice a day, it seems like.
Yeah.
And it takes like 4 seconds. She has to do this.
There was nothing.
She has to do this incantation, but it's like very quick.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know what we're talking about.
And she potentially casted a spell that, and granted she did it wrong, but casted a spell that affected the entire world, potentially. Oh, no matter where Xander went, I think the females would have been like there. Happen? And I wonder, because it seemed like some are gravitationally pulled toward him, like Drusilla, I don't think was just out and about. Maybe she was, I don't know.
Or were they there for Buffy maybe together?
Maybe. I'm not, it wasn't ever explicitly said, because Angel does seem to be caught off guard when Drew's there. So I wasn't sure.
And I'm like caught off guard by her, like, defending
attacking
him.
Friend. Yeah. I'm sure that didn't help.
Yes.
But it to me, it's like, is the whole world slowly gravitating towards Xander? Like, because it wasn't like he came into contact with a lot of these women that were circling up upon him. So like they had to have known at some point to like get into large groups, because two giant gangs collide and mosh pit to save him, honestly.
It's like a weird like Tokyo high school type royale fight where she has the axe and then like the lunch lady's there with a rolling pin or something, and they're all like fighting, clashing outside, and they get away.
Real quickly, without even being slighted, women turn to I would rather kill you than lose you. Like, because Joyce really didn't get like any time to grab that knife and start to get ready to kill.
Yeah, it seems to go crazy, which is, but that's okay, right?
Well, love drives you crazy.
Because Giles says, this is very dangerous. Love's bad.
Well, speaking of love, so like in the beginning, you get Miss Calendar trying to make a second attempt, like maybe to have an apology or whatever to get back with Rupert.
They do like, Giles, Miss Calendar, this long thing. They play the sad music again. You're like, oh no, and then he's like, actually, I'm gonna go talk to Buffy. Fuck you, bitch.
Pretty much.
Awesome.
But she makes a second stab at this, and then gets fallen under the spell of Xander's.
Slightly thwarted by the pheromones coming off of our boy.
But it does show that, like, she's at least attempting to make amends here.
Yeah, they're stringing me along. I don't know when this bitch dies. I don't know what's going on. Something has to happen. She's not in the. I don't remember her at all. She can't just be at the school for the rest of the time, unless she's uncredited or something, like 100 more episodes. She's done, right? It's over.
So I mentioned Drusilla. I mentioned Drusilla in this. I think Drusilla has one of the best moments where she shoves the door open and then can't get in.
Through. I don't like that, though.
I think that's fantastic. Seconded only towards Angel fighting with Xander. He like flips him so aggressively. Did you catch that flip? Xander's like body like totally end over ends onto his back. I was like, ooh, the stuntman got paid today.
There was a small moment there too when he says, "If it makes you feel any better, I feel very close to you right now." I'm like, it's the thing, it's the spell. But we didn't really get into it enough. No.
Yeah.
No, I didn't like her being able to break the door but not going through, because like I don't know where the threshold exactly is or something, but like your hands like have to move through that to break the door, kind of, right? Is it the
hard to
screen
say.
door? I don't know. I feel like you should hate that. It's like the logic doesn't work out of that.
It does seem like often like they're just in the doorway. So like I think they can't cross the doorway. So
if you had one toe outside the door, you could reach in and grab.
No. You physically can't cross it at all.
Yeah. They play a cool noise. It makes a thing.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Sorry, Drew."
Yeah. I like that. I like the rules being held up, and the rules obviously don't apply to Angel because he's already been invited in, and he's able to pull Xander out through the window, and that's pretty good.
Oh, that moment too. So like me watching this was just like the Vince McMahon gif. Where like awesome things just keep happening, and I think I was cross-eyed Vince McMahon at that moment when they're like, okay, Joyce is crazy too. Well, okay, we should be fine. And it gets like pulled. I'm like, oh yeah, there's more people on this show. There's Angel. There's everybody. This is amazing. They just kept stacking things. Yeah.
Yeah. So Angel, kind of a dick. He's really horning on Drew here. He gives her a heart of some young lady, and I was
gonna say he's cursed or uncursed or whatever.
So. You see that Spike has some more healing going on. He looks a little bit better.
Yes.
He was able to get out and about to buy her some sort or steal her some sort of a necklace, and like it does seem like he's kind of winning right now, Angel, in the she's my girl, boy.
I like this a lot. I'm not sure about the ethics of all this stuff because I don't know what their history really was or what's going on with the families or whatever, but yeah, I like this horrible thing with Spike. He must hate Angel slowly more and more now because of what he's doing. And Drew's not helping. She's like playing into it. She's like, Angel always knows what to say.
I think the biggest difference was before you had a mama in like Mama Vampire in the situation when Darla was around. You wouldn't have had these streams getting crossed. It was like, oh, you're the kids. You do your shit, whatever. And like maybe Angel did his little flirting and tapping around. But in general, that was his, like his lady. He didn't stray because she's a tough bitch. And now that he's like the king, he's like, I dip my toes wherever I want.
Yeah, it feels weird.
It is weird.
And I don't know. Okay, go. I was saying I don't know why it feels weird to me, but yeah, it feels like that shouldn't be happening. And Spike's like, watch it, mate. And then he's like, you watch it. I can dance around. Haha. We're good luck, Gimpy. It's horrible.
Good luck.
I'm like, this sucks. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the other people-centric episodes. Particularly, I like the Xander-heavy episodes. And there's not a million of them, but the ones you get, I think, are some of the strongest in the show because they often go slightly in a different route than the show typically goes.
No, I liked, and it makes sense when you say there's some story behind it or something, right? But I like that. My takeaway, not knowing that was, I like that Buffy didn't save the day. She was a rat. She has an excuse, but yeah, Buffy always saving the day in the exact same way gets boring. Because she just shows up and punches a little and then either stakes the person or lets them get away if they're in the credits and then whatever, right? But yeah, this is cool because everyone was off doing their own things and they were just in the basement.
Might be the worst explanation. Wow, what a rousing scavenger hunt that was.
I think I think at this point it's a joke.
Well,
I think that
honestly, there's nothing you could have said that would have, like, it's a gas leak. Like, nothing would make sense for, like, why are you in my house?
Well, and everyone apparently remembers.
Yes.
So, like, now there's nothing you can do. What are you going to say?
Well, and how does that affect your life if you're Xander? Like, wait a minute. Because no one knows magic is real. They're like, I was insanely in love with him. I was going to murder him. On Tuesday, are you like, maybe I do like Xander? Like,
I was going to say, I see him in a different light now.
It's a very weird thing to think about.
Also, I'm pretty sure if this had really happened like this, and like not even taking into effect the time skip that you pointed out, I'm sure people killed each other or themselves.
Had to have.
Just because there's so many people involved, right?
Yeah,
they have to have had some collateral damage.
Well, because those two crowds merged, and like at the time there was at least one weapon, flung about. So even if you were able to disarm a person, if you want blood, you're picking that up.
Clawing people's
you're
eyes
choking
out
people.
or
Yeah, stuff's happening. You're not going to walk away unscathed from this.
So
I just picture someone with a car, like, oh god,
just plowing through the crowd.
Yeah. No, it could get real really quickly. Like, this could be a decent premise for a movie that's like so rated R.
Oh yeah, right. Like a new edgy A24 version.
Yeah, like a new version of a zombie movie that's not a zombie movie.
It'd be called Number 9. That's just
yeah.
love potion. All right,
it's a classic movie.
Okay, so what's Buffy doing while she's a rat? She's being hunted by Oz.
Yes.
Oh, we got this awesome entrance from him where he right in the middle of all this chaos, he just suddenly punches Xander.
Yeah,
and it's great. And I'm like, oh yeah, Oz is here. Right?
He asserts his male dominance, he defends his lady, and he's not exactly sure why, but it felt like the right thing to do.
He does it in a very Oz/Seth Greeny manner, which I like. He's consistent. He's not going to suddenly do his thing or something like that. I like that he got tasked with like hunting the rat. I wanted there to be some dog or like wolf-like elements.
Yeah, if he sniffed or something.
Yeah, okay, good. Like we're on the same page. I was going to say you were going to be like, it's not that type of werewolf. But I like when the werewolf person has some little residual traits when they're chilling.
It makes sense. Like, oh, you're a little stronger, or you're a little more resilient, or you eat a little more, like something.
Something should happen, I feel like. And he almost he started to get more like hunched over and like look for the rat and stuff. And I was like, oh, is something going to happen? And they didn't quite do it. If they tried to do it, they didn't quite do it enough for me. But I want a little bit of that to happen.
I wanted, what they didn't show, was so Buffy as a rat is in the basement and you see a cat and there's a rat trap and there's shit. I wanted Buffy to have residual superpowers.
To slay the fucking
and I wanted
cat.
I wanted you to see like, Wah! When the cat gets thrown across the way and him go like, Buffy? And then like find her. I think that would be great.
Rat. Yeah, that's awesome.
But
that would have been awesome.
We have to like shout out, like he was still classy through all of this, and like even after he did, he's like, all right, and he helped Xander up. Like,
it's like weirdly classy.
He's such a good guy, like it's the best.
It's like a gentlemanly duel where he just slaps them with the glove.
Yeah,
it's like very strangely.
He's like, I won, nice. I knocked you down.
He's like, okay,
I proved my point. I don't know that you actually did anything wrong, but I feel you did. Okay, we're good.
She was crying all night about you. Imagine being like anyone else who doesn't know about either the magic thing or even the Xander thing. Just like, oh, my wife just left the house.
Yes.
She said she barely like remembers until she was in Buffy Summers' basement. Like, what's going on? Is that Buffy's last name?
Yes.
Okay, good. Never said it before. Buffy also just punches Amy at one point, and in my head I was like, oh, her jaw like detaches from her head and her skull shatters, but she's just like, ow, and I was like, fine. Like,
yeah, she was even restrained in murder rage, not knowing like anything is happening because I'm possessed by a spell.
And I can't believe that. Therefore, 9 out of 10. I'm like demoting the episode.
Oh no, this episode is fantastic. This might be in my like top 10 like fun episodes. Like there are better episodes, but this is like an extremely fun episode. It's a great one-off. It doesn't really affect much for the general plot, but it is definitely an episode that I would say you could watch having never seen the show and totally enjoy.
No, it stands out in a lot of ways, and also having been following every episode now, this is an awesome it like moves certain things forward and like develops certain characters and kind of fleshes out some stuff that's been like brewing for a while, right? So it's like it serves a lot of purposes. I will agree. Fun, 10 out of 10, great episode.
All right, guys, that's pretty much everything about this episode. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next week for episode 17 of season 2.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.